So, as the title says, who's going AMD on Wednesday when they launch their 6000 series GPUs? I know I am. I tried to get a 3080 at launch. I was there. I was refreshing the pages. The sites were down. It was all going mental, like I'm sure you all know, and I just couldn't get one. And to be honest, I'm actually quite glad that I didn't get one. Because as much as a 3080 is a good card, it's got a little less RAM than going forward, what I think we really should be looking at. And this is just my opinion. Well, it's not really my opinion. It is my opinion, but also there's some facts involved here too. You know, some of the testing that have been done with the 3080 at higher resolutions max out the onboard RAM, max out the video RAM, and of course that at launch, if you can max out the VRAM on a graphics card, how's it going to be in a year's time or 2 years' time? I mean, I probably keep graphics cards for probably 2 to 3 years until either things start to slow down whereby I'm having to crank the settings down, or until, like in this case, I buy a new VR headset, the G2, that is 2160 by 2160 and needs more power going forward to run VR games, especially ones upcoming VR games that are going to be even higher fidelity graphics wise. You know, I want something a bit girthier than my RTX 2080. So buying a graphics card that's only got, I think, was it 10 gig of RAM they come with? It's just not enough if you can max it out at launch, you know, at high resolutions. It's just not the way to go. So I'm quite pleased that I was unable to get a 3080 on launch day, and I kept trying for like the next week, you know, and I ended up like 2000th in the queue on overclockers.co.uk, which means I'll get a card in like March or April or some stupid time. So I'm very pleased that actually happened. Big shout out to all the bots and all the scalpers for stopping me from getting a card that I didn't really want, because with the AMD line of cards due to launch on Wednesday, they all come with 16 gig of RAM. Now, albeit it's not DDR6X, it's just DDR6. The reality is it makes no difference whatsoever. If we look at all the performance charts, we look at the benchmarks, we look at real world gaming performance, the 6800 XT equals the 3080. They basically perform exactly the same until, of course, you run out of VRAM on the 3080. So I'm really glad that that's happened, and I'm going to be there Wednesday. I need to find out what time they go live here in the UK, but whatever time it is, I'm going to be there, and I'm going to be trying to buy myself a bloody 6800 XT, because I've got this G2 that is apparently coming on the 30th of this month now, but again, who knows? It's been put back enough times already, and I really need to get the card that's in the current machine up here downstairs so that I can play some two-player VR with Katie and with friends when we're allowed friends around the house here in the UK, which we're not right now. So I'm going to be there desperately trying to get one. Let me know if you guys are too. And you know, the other thing I was thinking about doing, because I'd like to say I need a card, so that's a strong phrase to use, but I have a second gaming setup downstairs in the front room, and it has a 1050 Ti in. Well, that's just not good enough to run any sort of virtual reality. Even my old CV1 with its much lower resolution screen still can't run on it. It's just not good enough. So I need a graphics card to go down there. The plan was get a 3080, put my 2080 downstairs, because 2080s are not worth much. Well, yeah, here's an interesting point. My other option right now, let's say I can't get a 6800 XT on Wednesday, and it's going to be months. The other option is to buy a second-hand graphics card from the current lineup that's already out. So basically, we're going to be talking anything from a 1080 to the 20 series, really, if I want to be able to run VR. And I was about to say, it's not worth me selling my 2080, which is why I can just put it downstairs, because they ain't worth much money. Well, they're not worth much money if 3080s are available and if big Navi cards are available, the 6000 series. If they're unavailable, and all you can buy is the old 20 series and 10 series, then the prices are going to stay up, which is a little bit annoying. Because if we can buy a 6800 XT for, I think, it's going to be £650, £600, something like that, really good price. The prices of the 2080s, which is what I've got here, what's it going to be worth? £200, maybe, something like that. because you can buy, if you bump the price up, say £300 or £400, you can buy a lower model. You can buy a 3070 if they were available, or the 6800 non-XT for that sort of money, and they perform way better than what my 2080 does. So there'd be no, or at least equal to. So there'd be no point paying new money for a 2080, which is now a 2-year-old card, give or take, when you can buy a brand new card and get warranty and blah, 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 blah. So, yeah, this is the sort of dilemma I'm in. If I can't get a 6800 XT, I still need a card for downstairs. I've literally got multiplayer VR games installed on there, purchased, ready to play with my missus, and I have no way to run them. So I'm desperately hoping to be able to get one of these 6800 XTs. And I was talking to my cousin, in fact, today briefly about he's looking forward to the 3080 Ti launch. And again, obviously we had a bit of a laugh about whether you're actually going to be able to get one or not. But my thoughts on the 3080 Ti is that it's almost a pointless card. I'm not quite sure who NVIDIA are targeting it at, because it's basically a very slightly slower 3090 at a very slightly lower price. And that slightly lower price is still going to be around £1,000, because the 3090 is £1,500. And the 3090 is only maybe, 5, 6, 7% faster in games than what a 3080 is. And yet it's that much more money. So the 3080 can't outperform the 3090, because NVIDIA would just be shooting themselves in the foot, and no one would buy a 3090 because you'd be able to buy a 3080 Ti that's faster for less money. So it'd be like all those 3090 cards that they haven't even produced, actually. Actually, it wouldn't matter because they haven't got any anyway. They could just stop producing cards for 3090s because they don't have them. But let's imagine they had some 3090s. If they then brought out a 3080 Ti that was faster, no one would buy the 3090s. They'd just sit around doing nothing, and everyone would buy the 3080s. But, as I say, the 3090 is only a tiny bit quicker than a normal 3080 in gaming. And if the 3080 Ti is going to be somewhere in between a 3080 and a 3090, what are we actually going to be talking about here? 2.5% to 3% faster than a normal 3080? What would be the point? Like, why would you pay £1,000 for a card that performs within 2.5% to 3% of a card that's only £680, £700? No one's going to do it, are they? It just makes no sense. So I'm not sure why NVIDIA are doing that. And at the moment, you know, the specs are only leaked, but ultimately it can't be quicker than a 3090, and it can't be slower than a 3080 because it's a 3080 Ti. And if the delta between a 3080 and a 3090 is only 5 to 7%, it's only good. The 3080 Ti can only be somewhere in the middle of that. So it doesn't make any sense. And then if you compare it to a 6800 XT, the 6800 XT actually beats out the 3090 in some gaming real-world benchmarks. So again, who is this 3080 Ti going to be for? And again, yeah, this is just me sort of waffling a little bit, but I find it kind of interesting, you know, why they're pitching these new cards to come out when there's no real market for them. They're going to lose a huge share to AMD on Wednesday, assuming AMD have some stock, which I really hope they do because I really need one. And again, talking about the 3080s only having 10 gig of RAM, I think it's 10 gig of RAM, the lower ones only have 8, which is even worse. Like, I've forgotten the model of it now, but it's a lower spec card they've got coming out, a 3050, is it? A 3050 Ti? They're coming with 12 gig of RAM. So they've obviously gone, hold on a minute, 10 gig of RAM isn't really enough. So let's bring out these new SKUs with 12 gig of RAM, which is more than what the 3080s have got. So what are they going to do now? Add extra RAM to the 3080s that are coming out? It's all just a big mess. And NVIDIA have really dropped the ball on this one, especially if AMD have some stock for us all to buy on Wednesday. You know, everyone waiting for a card like me that were going to buy a 3080 or that may still be in a queue for their 3080 pre-ordered are just going to go, nah, I'll tell you what, fuck that, I'm just going to buy a 6800 XT. Does the same job and comes with more RAM. So a little bit of future-proofing there. But anyway, there's a little bit of waffle about what I'm going to be doing come Wednesday. Let me know in the comments if you're going to try and go AMD this Wednesday. Let me know why. Do you share the same thoughts as me? Are you sticking with NVIDIA? Are you going to stay in the queue and wait however long it might be? And if you are, again, I'd be interested to know why. I find all this sort of stuff really interesting. But what I know is I need a card. My missus needs a card for the computer downstairs. We want to play some VR over winter whilst we're locked in our homes. And at the moment, my 1050 Ti can barely display the 4K desktop, let alone play any VR games. Anyway, I'll speak to you all soon. Have a good week, and good luck to all of you trying to get an AMD card Wednesday, and wish me luck as well. As always, take it easy.